What's up, everybody? Anthony here, Reflection Concept, reflectionconcept.com. Just want to thank everybody for tuning into my last video on the 29 pedals Una and the JHS color box, kind of running through my signal chain. That was easily, to date, my most successful video here on my YouTube channel. And today I want to talk about a few basses. And if you know me at all, and you know me from the Empire Music page, you might know what I'm going to talk about. I've done a lot of content on it. It's really, really cool to have this opportunity to showcase it in my home. If you've ever been to my house or talked to me here in the Pittsburgh area, and we've talked about recording, I've probably related that I don't have a dining room. We're sitting in it right now. It is a recording studio because I figured if I put a dining room table in here, I'm just going to pile crap on top of it. So I have a very small, like, bar top table in my kitchen over this way. I really like everything in a very, very close proximity, meaning like when I'm getting ready for the day in the morning, which is my most productive time. I'm not a night person when it comes to content creation. I'm much more productive in the morning, good night of sleep, get up, make some coffee, and kind of get to it. Oftentimes when I get home from work, at Empire Music, a few of those nights I work until 8 o'clock. It's like the last thing I want to do is I want to turn off my brain at that point, just like watch some TV. I don't watch a lot of TV, but when I do, it's usually at night to kind of wind down, although I'll watch like Breaking Bad or something, and something crazy, something intense, thinking I'm going to wind down. But nonetheless, the basses I want to talk about today, two of them, right? I'm lucky enough to own two of these basses. This is the Empire 58 Precision bass from the Fender Custom Shop. This one is in Olympic white. And then also, I should probably talk into the mic. And then also, another one, Empire 58 as well, in Cherry Sunburst. That white one's in Journeyman Relic, so very light relicing finish checking on it. This Cherry Sunburst, which is a newer edition, is in NOS. So I designed these Empire 58s, right? So I picked every single spec on it. We spec'd out the pickup with Vincent Van Tricht in the custom shop, who's no longer there, but he had a large hand in designing that pickup, the voicing of it, so on and so forth. But then I picked the neck profile. I picked all the wood specs, which I'll get into in a second. But I based that off of my 2018 58. Just made some slight changes to that to make it a little bit more comfortable, to make the voicing a little bit more what I wanted to based off of my attack. So I had sold the 2018, and I moved the white one from rounds to flats. But I was still missing the round wound sound, because rounds on a P are amazing. And we'll kind of get into both sounds and why I like having both of them. And this is not new. There's probably a million videos out here on YouTube demonstrating why a P bass with rounds and flats is cool, or which one's better. This isn't necessarily a video about which one's better. I think it's just why you can make the case for owning two. You certainly don't need to buy the level of custom shop. You can own two American Pro 2s or Player Series, even Squire, whatever. But it is nice not just having a P and a J, so a precision bass and a jazz bass, having two precision basses, one with flats, one with rounds, because you'd be surprised at where each one of them fits. Sometimes it's not always exactly where you think it's going to be. So that's kind of how this bass kind of came to fruition. All right, so some of the specs on the Empire 58 P bass. I think the two biggest things outside of the pickup, which we'll get into, it's a roasted alder body, and it is a roasted one-piece quarter sawn maple neck. Roasting both components, you take some of the moisture out, you open up some of the pores. I do think you add a little bit of warmth into the instrument that way. Nice tight neck pocket on them because they're made out of the custom shop. Really nice resonance from headstock all the way down to the bridge. I like the vintage style bridge on that because I wanted to keep all the aesthetics very vintage and sort of purist style. Reverse gear tuners with the tall stems, 1 3/4 at the nut, heel adjust truss rod on it. You can see how dark the neck is on them too. It's really, really nice. And then one of my favorite visual aspects of it is this non-roasted skunk stripe on the back. I did not plan that. I think it looks really, really cool. Let me get that in focus there, hopefully. Cover my face up for it to focus because I have autofocus centered on my face here. But the non-roasted skunk stripe, when I pulled these out of the case, I said, oh, I didn't even know they were not going to roast the skunk stripe on it. It ended up being just a really kind of cool two-tone thing on it. And then the pickup, which I think is the most important aspect of it, is our Empire 58 pickup. It lies kind of in between a 57 and a 62 hand wound, which are two of the more used Fender Custom Shop pickups. 6105 frets on it, so everything's pretty standard on it. Oh, a neck profile, very important too, because my 2018 had a 57 soft V neck profile on it, which is fine. It's a little bit on the chunky side. It did start to bother me, and for me to say that says a lot, because I'm not really picky about that type of stuff. But there, I did find when I had to play something that was a little bit more fleet and I had, fast, I did feel a little bit cumbersome. It felt cumbersome to me, I should say. So I went with a 60s oval C on it. So I think a neck shape that really fits a lot of players. It's not thin enough that it doesn't feel vintage at all. It's not thick enough that we could even associate it with like what we would call like a baseball bat neck. I think this P-Bass, and I am 100% biased because I designed this and we sell these at Empire Music. I think this is the best P-Bass on the market, regardless of brand. I know a lot of people like to crap on Fender. I get it. They're the big conglomerate, but they make Fender better than anyone else does. I'm not saying that. This is on my channel here, right? And yes, I do sell Fender products for a living. I fully will disclose that. Specifically, let's just talk about Custom Shop. There's nothing better than a Fender Custom Shop P-Bass if you want a P-Bass. There just isn't. You get into this level of build, it's absolutely incredible. Sonically, the feel is great. Other companies make great feeling basses. There's no doubt about it. I still will stand by it. I think a Custom Shop Fender P-Bass, whether we're talking team built like this or we jump up to that next tier, like into master built, I really think no one does the Fender thing better than Fender. I'll argue it all day long, but I truly do stand by that. And specifically our Empire 58s, again, I'm very biased because I designed them. I think they're incredible. So that's the specs on this. And again, Journeyman Relic on here with the rounds. And I'll show one more time. Leaning in an expensive bass against the snare drum there. Sorry, Lou, my friend Lou Ross. I'm using your snare drum as my bass stand, but I'll be playing that one. And this one in NOS in Cherry Sunburst. Sorry for the reflection on my my light over there. All right, so let's dive into some of the sounds. So signal path. In the last video, I showed it. I'm using the same exact thing. Una, volume pedal, HX stomp with a few various effects. Right now we're running clean. Astral Destiny, Earthquaker devices, Boss, Space Echo 202, Boomerang, Phrase Sampler, Looper. Have the Red Panda Labs tensor back here, running into the color box, which is on. The Una is engaged. Let me turn the volume up on the pedal here. All right, so the Olympic White here, this one has my flats on it. Labella low tensions. The combination of the pickup, the roasting neck, the roasted body, and with a little bit of compression on it adds to the compression of the pickup, but it's so touch sensitive with these strings on it. What I mean by that is, you hear if I lay back off the strings a bit. It retains that roundness, and if I dig into it, really gets that transient, you know, kind of the way that attack, and you hear the snap of the maple. It's so easy to get that with the low tension flats. You sacrifice a little, I think you do sacrifice a little bit of warmth in low end with that lower string tension, but the playing experience is just so enjoyable out of the low tensions that I absolutely love it. So I'm going to bypass the HX Stomp real quick. Just kind of looking at the audio signal there. So that's just with the Una and the color box on. So there is a little bit of coloration on that, but I would never do that on the Empire channel. On the Empire channel, everything stays really, really clean, but we're not on the Empire channel. We're here on my channel, the Reflection Concept channel. Please subscribe. Shameless plug there. So I get a chance to kind of showcase what I would, this is my clean tone. You know, right now, this is my clean tone. All right, so I'm going to engage. So again, HX bypass totally. Now back to clean tone out of that with basically an LA2A on it. Just punches it up just ever so slightly. It really still retains a ton of the character of the bass. Just gives me a little bit extra compression on that. And yes, you can slap with flats. People think you can't. It's not my favorite thing, but it's got that vintage vibe to it for sure. Right? Super, super nice. Moving the hand around too, even with flats, you get that nice change in tone. I do a lot of that on the Empire videos. I don't do much of that in like my personal playing time. I'm generally hanging out right over the pickup or right in front of it. It changes. It's such a nuanced difference there. Check that out. Right on top of the pickup. Right in front of it. It's such a nuanced difference there. I love that. And then rolling some, that's tone all the way up. Typically, I wouldn't have tone all the way up. Actually, I wouldn't say that. It's usually around 90, but sometimes it's all the way on, depending. So here's it around 90. Cool. So let's go over to the other one here with the rounds on it. All right, back with the rounds. So Cherry Sunburst, same exact specs, Empire 58P bass. Here it is with rounds. You hear where that compressor kicks in more. Let's bypass the compressor. Now let's engage it. Really hear it on those the crisp the upper end character, that transient. That's tone all the way up. Roll some tone back on that. All right, let's check them out with a pick. I'll take some of that LA2A off. I really love the pick palm mute thing. Even with a little bit of reverb on it. Open picking. And then over to rounds. It's great too. They both rule. It's funny because as I was switching this over, I said, yeah, I probably like flats more than rounds if I had to put a percentage on it, it's like 70-30 flats. That's not true. It's straight 50-50 for me. I love rounds on a P bass. It's awesome. And you can kind of flirt with that bass 6y kind of thing. Be better with a spring reverb. I have this long kind of ambient reverb on it. And back to fingers. All right, so that's the Empire 58 B basses. Again, lucky enough to own two, one that I can keep the flats on, one that I can keep rounds on. If you are interested in any of these basses, feel free to leave a comment below. Even above that, regardless of what basses you use, if you use J, P, active, passive, whatever brand it might be, for the players out there that are debating switching over to flats, try it, see if it works for you. Maybe rounds is your thing. If at all possible, try to have a bass that you can put both on, or have a bass with each, I should say, have both in your arsenal, because I really, really think it's important. And you're negating, or you're not, make both sound. I guess what I'm saying is make both sounds available to you, because there's going to be musical situations that you might not think one of them's going to fit that ends up being the absolute perfect thing. So greatly appreciate you watching. If you have a second, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get some followers up there. I want to hit that 500 mark on here. Would be amazing. So feel free to subscribe if you dig the content. Greatly appreciate you checking out this video. Hop over to the Empire Music page, follow the shop. Greatly appreciate that too. Anything you need, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.